how do you feel about some of the stuff that's going on in Hollywood right now?
Yeah.
I think you commented, like even the DEI stuff that they're doing and forcing some things. If you want to win an Oscar or be nominated, you have to be able to qualify for all these things, or else the movie cannot be going.
Oh, you're talking about diversity.
All that stuff. And you're a black man. I'm Middle Eastern. How do you feel about saying, well, in order for a movie to be nominated for XYZ, a third has to be this, and a third has to be that, and a third has to be this, and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I think the idea of that is crazy to implement in Hollywood because, it's almost like you say, all right, Q, I'm going to have you work in my house. You're going to be the gardener. I'm a pool man. And me and the pool man say, you know what? We need more money. And you go, you're right. I want you, from now on, here's a set of rules. But I don't need you to work today. Matter of fact, I got another gardener that's coming in. In other words, all I'm saying is you can set rules for diversity, but until we as people, minorities, get the opportunities afforded us based on our talents and exposed, and I'll bring it back to hockey, okay? People come up to me all the time, say, man, you play hockey? Black people don't know hockey. And I say to them, we invented hockey. People don't know this, but the runaway slaves went up through Nova Scotia, through England in America into Nova Scotia. There's a book called Black Ice. And the black slaves got with the Indians and they created black hockey leagues of the Maritimes 1895 to like 1900. And these rules that they did, and even the goalie, they had a black goalie that stacked his pads. That's how they adopted the rules of the NHL today, right? So here you're looking at the NHL is an all-white sport, but we were at the genesis of it way back in the day. You think of hip-hop. It's like how many years from now, 40 years now, you say, hey, man, what are you doing as a black guy? You're not in hip-hop, that's the white man's music. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so I think of the DEI and all of that as, any positive step you can get, but we need the tools. We need the inner city kids to have the same, it's funny because you talk about when they say nepotism, and my son, Mason Gooding, he has an opportunity, and let's be honest, because he has the exposure of who I am. So how you get around that, I think you just have to, I guess I really at the end of the day say I don't have the answers.
Did you feel like you being black hurt you and making it in Hollywood? Like, did you feel you had a disadvantage?
I always looked at and I do this to this day. I look at the positive side of things. I knew that when Coralie sent me to those auditions and I was surrounded by those white guys, that I had something they didn't have. And I put me in that position to be seen where she wasn't looking for me. And I've always been that way in my life. When the ice hockey, the rodeo, horseback ride, motorcycle ride, anything where I know that I'm not gonna blend in and I stand out, good or bad. I know that there's opportunity there. And that's what I try to look for in every area of my life.
It's the right mindset. You said something from Christian movies are coming up. I think your exact words were, I think Hollywood is just waiting to see what's going to happen. Let me see if I can find this, what you said here. You said you can't deny the shift with what is happening with faith-based movies.
That's right.
Hollywood isn't going to come and say, what are you doing? They're going to say, let's see if it works. If it works, then we know if it's the right way to go. That's how Hollywood works. Right now, everybody is as quiet as church mouse, but it's because of the reactions that we're getting from the audiences all across the country, from Hawaii to New York City. So we'll 100%. Let the film speak for itself. And this is based on a few movies you commented on: Sound of Freedom, Jesus Revolution, Ordinary Angels. What do you think is going on with movie making?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now what's going on. You got you have a destruction after the pandemic. You had the perfect storm of events happen, right? You had the streamers that all came out of nowhere. You had every studio now shuttering their theatrical distribution business because they didn't have product, and people were afraid to sit in an audience with other people, right? But who was never afraid, other than Floridians? But who was never afraid to go and sit amongst the congregation Christians. Christians, I don't care if we had to wear a mask or if we didn't wear a mask, we went to church. And what Hollywood keeps forgetting, that these people we get up every Sunday, put our best clothes on, and we listen to the pastor. And the pastor says, see this movie, that's where we look. And after the end of the movie, we tell our friends, we buy tickets and we go to that. And I think there's a bunch of these examples, but the most obvious one, which always makes me laugh, is the Barbenheimer phenomenon. Yes, Barbenheimer made $1 billion. Even Top Gun made $1 billion. But what was there?
Oppenheimer, you mean?
What did I say?
You said Barbenheimer.
The phenomenon that was Barbenheimer meant Oppenheimer and Barbie.
I got it.
And then the third movie would be Top Gun.
Got it.
What were your other choices? Especially with Top Gun, you only had Top Gun, so it made $1 billion. Of course, there's not a lot of competition because there's not a lot of product ready yet. But you look at Barbenheimer or Oppenheimer and Barbie. What was the other one that made quietly $100 million that nobody talked about that starred Caviezel?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Hollywood doesn't want to talk about that weekend. Now they say it in hindsight. Oh, yeah, and Sound of Freedom. Boy, what a phenomenon that was. And it just made this much money because it doesn't fit in their mold. It doesn't fit in their narrative. They need a narrative to follow, and then they'll follow it. And once they get it, floodgates are open.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.